Macabre Cast.
The devil's on the loose and he's dancing with the mummy.
Doc Mark and Chorus, the Little Mummy, here to bring you another episode of Macabre Cast, where we'll be dropping R's where they belong and adding them where they don't.
Ew, seriously?
That is so gross.
I wanted to talk about fan service. And for those of you late to the dance, fan service is, perfect example. Like the stuff you'd see in the recent Halloween trilogy, like the masks from the original Halloween 3 appearing in the background, or when they flash back to Halloween 1978 to tell a little side story. And a lot of people complain about this, and they say, it's fan service. What's wrong with fan service? I mean, the filmmaker is catering to the true fans of that particular franchise. Who are they supposed to cater to? You want them catering to people who have no interest in a Halloween film or no interest in a Friday the 13th film? That doesn't even make sense to me. Obviously, the people they should cater to and want to impress or satisfy would be the true fans, the ones that keep coming to the Friday the 13th, keep coming to the Halloween. Am I wrong here? How do you feel about fan service? Or I can see where particularly sometimes there could be a fan service scene that is ridiculous or hokey. But what do you monster kids, how do you feel about fan service? Victor Miller, just the writer of the original Friday the 13th films, turned 84 years old the other day. And now that these lawsuits are wrapping up, is he really going to write one of the next Friday the 13th movies? I mean, I don't know this, but I know these lawsuits are over. And no offense, and I'm not age shaming or anything, but I mean that's like my dad's age. Is he gonna really be writing the next so many stories or scripts for Friday the 13th, or is he just gonna reap the benefits? Is it going to be a young writer? I'm just curious, I wonder what the plans are there.
This has been going on for 10 plus years. He should have 2 or 3 movies written now, just sitting in a briefcase somewhere. And it concerns me that you brought up Friday the 13th. You're just going to send horror chat on a tear.
On a side note, 1408 is just one story of one room in the Overlook Hotel. Seriously, tell me I'm wrong.
What does that have to do with the price of eggs?
To Friday the 13th? Nothing. But it's Stephen King who wrote The Shining and about the Overlook Hotel, and it's a little bit of fan service. It's kind of like the same story, just about what happened in one particular room of a haunted hotel. I love the movie, don't get me wrong. 1408 is a great movie. But I don't know, could be fan service too in a way, I guess. Maybe? No? And a trailer for Longlegs has been dropped. This is the movie I talked about a few episodes back, about a serial killer being tracked by an FBI agent who has past ties to the killer. And this stars Nicolas Cage. This movie looks really creepy and good. Looking forward to it. Many episodes back, I asked you monster kids if any of you grew up in the 70s to some of those great movie of the week TV horror movies, like Salem's Lot, obviously is a very popular one. But I threw a few others out there, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. But a favorite of mine from 1978 is The Dark Secret of Harvest Home.
What is The Dark Secret of Harvest Home?
What did you see? A ghost? You want me to believe that you accept this local voodoo? What do they do? Do you want to end up like me?
He's come to see! Let him see!
Betty Davis in a 2-part chiller, The Dark Secret of Harvest Home, begins tonight after cliffhangers.
And I want to talk a little bit about that, which played as a 2-part film on TV, but I know it was available for a while on VHS, and I think you can actually stream it in some places. So a young couple, Nick and Beth Constantine, and their young daughter, Kate, moved to this quiet New England town, very reminiscent of Stephen King's town in Children of the Corn. And very much in the same vein, this whole town is obsessed with the seasons and the change and the rituals of the corn. It comes complete with your creepy little girl who foresees what's to come. And the captain at the helm in this is Betty Davis as the Widow Fortune, who walks around town in her black garments and her long pair of sharp scissors hanging from her belt. The wife and daughter kind of fall into the old ways of the town very easily, while Nick, the husband, starts to uncover the dark secret behind Harvest Home, and is made to feel silly by his family. And before the end, we've got eyes being sewn shut and tongues being cut out. The daughter is played by a very young Rosanna Arquette, who was only 19 at the time. Rosanna Arquette, Desperately Seeking Susan, Pulp Fiction, and Tina from Chicago's favorite, Buffalo 66. So, Dark Secret from Harvest Home from 1978. A slow burn that left this 9-year-old dark mark pretty scared.
Hey, Dark Mark. This is Tina from Chicago.
Tina from Chicago.
I'm just checking in. Sorry I haven't been around. I've been really wicked busy. So I've just come home from college. And I have some thoughts about your last episode of Macabre Cast. So I thought I'd give you a call. First of all, Dracula. I love Frank Langella's Dracula. But did you know that he toured with the play Dracula around that same time the movie came out? And my mother took my brother to see it, not me. I was so jealous. Also, I didn't like the Francis Ford Coppola version of Dracula. Like you, I didn't like the casting, but I did like Gary Oldman as Dracula. And, of course, my favorite Dracula is Bela Lugosi. That goes without saying. And Nosferatu. Also, I wanted to bring up, you went into the dishonorable mention about the movie The Happening. I actually liked that movie. I thought that it was creepy and kind of funny. And the worst M. Night Shyamalan film I can think of that I really hated was The Village. But my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movies were Unbreakable, number one. I like Split, and Glass was okay, but I got to tell you, the last 5 minutes of Split, I had no idea that the movie was connected to Unbreakable, and I hope I'm not spoiling it for anybody. I probably am not, but the last 5 minutes when Bruce Willis' character reveals that last scene, I had hair stand up on the back of my neck because I was thinking, oh my God, there's going to be a sequel to Unbreakable. And I just was so excited. I absolutely loved it. I loved the whole movie because of that. But that's just my thoughts, my opinions. I can't wait to hear what you think about those three movies, because if there's something you could change about those three movies, I'd like to know, because Violet had some opinions. We watched Split the other day, and then we watched Glass, and she said, it's not as good as Unbreakable, and I kind of agree with her, but I'd like to hear your opinion of it. And I love Grim Kim. I think what she did last week was great. Keep it up, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.
Must you end the call with Tina from Chicago so abruptly? You cut off her last word.
I know I was mean about M. Shyamalan, and it's probably because I know I can't say his name correctly. But as far as Unbreakable, I loved Unbreakable. I always describe that movie as the best hero origin story out there. Even beats Marvel. I liked Split a lot, and same thing. Very exciting at the end when you find that out, that it's connected. But I question that if he planned that out from the beginning, or if he kind of tacked that on to the end to kind of capitalize on his success of Unbreakable. And I agree, Glass was, I liked the least, I think. And I too love Grim Kim's Grim Fairy Tales. But I hope this doesn't mean we're not going to get her take on movies anymore, or her suggestions. I hope that's still going to be a thing, if you're listening, Grim.
Doc Mark and Karis, Hard Chat Matt here. And my spider sense was tingling this weekend as I took in not one, but two spider-themed movies. The first one was the French film Infested that is streaming on Shudder. While it started off great, overall, I wasn't that big a fan of it. I don't know if things were lost in translation, but I just didn't care for the main characters all that much. And it did have a pretty cool location. Actually, both films take place in apartment buildings, and Infested had quite a few cool, interesting, creepy scenes, but overall, I actually ended up falling asleep a couple of times during this and had to go back and try and figure out where I was. Maybe someday I'll go back and try and give it a watch all in one sitting, but that's not really that great of a recommendation of a movie, falling asleep twice watching it. So this one's mostly going to be a pass from me. The other one I actually really enjoyed, which is new on Amazon. You do have to rent it. It's called Sting, and it's from Australia, but it's made to look like it takes place in New York. And similar to Infested, it takes place in an apartment building. And something I've always enjoyed is when the weather is warmer, I always enjoy watching a movie that's set in the wintertime. And this one is more of a sci-fi movie, and it starts off, once again, one location apartment building in New York during a blizzard. And a little girl befriends a strange spider that she finds in her apartment building. Before you know it, things start going off the rails, and the spider is growing bigger and bigger. And there's some great kills and special effects. And overall, I just really enjoyed this one and can't wait to watch it again. I don't suffer from arachnophobia, but I certainly am not a fan of spiders and don't want them crawling on me or being in the house. If I do find one in the house, I tend to catch it and try and let it go outside, as the thought of stepping on it and squishing their butts and having it explode really turns my stomach. What about you, Doc Mark? Do you suffer from arachnophobia? Have you seen either of these two movies? Curious to get your take on them if you have. As always, keep up the great work of bringing the macabre to all your legions of monster kids. Doc Mark, and I look forward to next week's episode.
I must confess, I too tried to watch Infested twice, and also both times fell asleep. But not because I wasn't interested, not because I didn't think it was creepy, because I did. It was just, I just started the film too late. So I've taken a break from trying to watch it again, and I do plan to sit down early enough and catch the whole thing. Yeah, arachnophobia, I'm not a big fan of spiders, and for the longest time of my life, you could probably consider me a spider serial killer. I've killed so many, but now with a family who's very much against that, I'm forced, if I have to partake in it, to also capture them and let them go. So I don't partake in it. I make them do it, because if it's left up to me, it's killing time again. See? Brownie the corpse-sniffing dog agrees with me. Don't you, Brownie? The new Strangers reboot is out. That Chapter 1. I've heard absolutely nothing at all since it's come out, good or bad. Don't forget, I'd like to continue the deep death dive theme, asking you, Monster Kids, what would you change in a film that would make it better, or change the franchise as we know it? And if you have a horrible mention, too, you can always pass that along. Until next time, stay on the road, keep clear of the moors, and beware the moon. But most of all, be good to yourself. This is Doc Mark, signing off. See you soon.
This is a Macabre Theater production.